Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum. And to our final interview of the morning, an interview I've really been looking forward to after all of the doom and gloom we've been talking about for weeks and weeks and weeks on end. We're going to be talking to Songezo Zibi. He is an author. The book is entitled Manifesto, A New Vision for South Africa. Please, God, yes, let there be a new vision for South Africa, and let us as South Africans band together and make it happen. A very good morning to you, Songezo. Welcome to the program and congratulations on the book.
Good morning, Julie. Thank you very much for having me this morning.
Well, I'm so thrilled because it seems that by way of this book, we're giving out a clear message of hope to South Africans as long as we are willing to roll up our sleeves and do the work. How long was the book in the process of being written? And it is entitled Manifesto, A New Vision for South Africa.
So the book has been in the works for many years. When I wrote my first book called Raising the Bar, Hope and Renewal in South Africa, I had signed a deal for 2 books with my publisher because I thought that by 2017 I would be in a position to write a follow-up book which would be filled with suggestions on how we can make our country better and improve our democracy and improve the lives of ordinary South Africans who are struggling. But of course, things kept changing so fast under President Jacob Zuma that every time I started writing, it would soon be out of date. And eventually last year, I took a decision to just put a peg in the ground and write this book. So it's been in the works for 18 months, I would say, which is a good time to reflect and write.
Okay, did you find that in the process of the book you've had to keep going back because politics is changing so rapidly? There's other factors happening in and around us, climate change being one of those, impacting on all our lives, that you to go back and rewrite and change throughout a chapter, add a new chapter, etc., etc.?
No, I didn't have to do that at all. So what I do in the book is I look at the last 27 years of democracy. We got
Ah,
democracy in 1994. I was fortunate enough to vote in 1994, so I voted in every single election, national election since then. And I just take a step back and say, what's working and what's not working? And what do we need to change? And what is urgent that we all need to act together to change now? And what are some of the things we need to change in the medium term in order to make our democracy better, to change the lives of South Africans for the better, and to unite as a nation because we are becoming increasingly divided because of the problems that we have. So I've taken that approach, and that approach enables me to ignore some of the day-to-day things that happen in South African politics.
okay, so who is the book targeted at? And I'm kind of wondering, you indicate that you've ignored some of the day-to-day political matters in the country. So sources, whom have you relied upon regarding sources? Have you just gone back the past 27 years and looked at the historical strides and the historical happenings from the end of apartheid, the start of our democracy, and used all of that information as the information you have actually captured in the book? And then I also want you to highlight a few of the key events that drives this book and drives our thinking as South Africans.
Yes, there is a significant historical reference because I think a lot of our political problems are historical in the sense of decisions we made before 1994, just before 1994, and in our constitution, such as we have it. And the Times then wanted a certain type of solution politically. I'll make an example: the electoral system that we have, which empowers political parties and disempowers citizens. Back then, it was put in place to make sure that all South Africans by race had a representation in parliament, and therefore the power was given to political parties so that they may form whatever political parties they wanted. Clearly, we've moved along now. It's 27 years later. Nobody is going to go out and just randomly attack other people. We can unite on the basis of values. We can unite on the basis of this constitution, and we can find a political home somewhere, either through political parties or as independents. And we need to change that system so that South Africans can elect people they trust, they can hold them accountable, and that system also assists in the delivery of services and other freedoms to ordinary South Africans. It's just one of the examples I can make in saying I've looked at historical issues, I've looked at how things work or are not working right now, and I have proposed a solution on the kind of things we need to do in order to make it better so that our democracy becomes better.
I presume the book has already been launched, and I'm kind of wondering what sort of response you've received from the book. And I'm also hoping that you forwarded copies of the book to all of the political bigwigs in the country, because it's fine for ordinary lay people like myself to be reading the book, because we know what's going down, and you sometimes wonder if the rich and famous and the political bigwigs are really aware of what's happening on the ground, or do they really care what is happening on the ground?
The book has been the response has been overwhelming for me. It's much more than I ever expected, because I think the crisis that we have in the country politically and economically and just in terms of the strain that ordinary South Africans and ordinary South African families are feeling has made everyone focus on what the solutions are. And because of the propositions that are in the book, I have had a myriad people, from the rich and famous to ordinary people from back home in the Eastern Cape, in my in Mgandruli, equally reaching out and saying, "What can we do?" And there's an important aspect to this book, Julie, and that is I then commit myself in the book to working actively with other South Africans to drive the changes that I say in the book are necessary. So I didn't just write a book. I have also committed myself to the same ideas that I have put in the book. And it's been wonderful, because there have been hundreds of South Africans who've put up their hand and said to me, we need to work to make these things become a reality.
Undoubtedly, the title of the book says it all: Manifesto, a New Vision for South Africa, meaning that each and every South African should be reading the book to understand what each and every one of us can do, must do to make a difference in the country. But you need someone to drive that. Somebody needs to take
Yes.
the initiative to get some sort of collective to make it happen. But you also need political will. You also need political leaders to start talking about the changes we want to see. Have you had buy-in from that faction, or from that section of of the population, the political leaders? What are they saying, and are they going to be holding your hand and my hand through this process to make change happen? Or are they too busy lining their pockets with their ill-gotten gains, our taxpayers' money?
So I think that the politicians can see that what's in the book yeah, is not in their interest. But the people that have reached out to me, a lot of people who do work in communities and in the country as a whole, civil society groups, civil society leaders, and also community leaders and community groups. It's been wonderful in that way. And those are the people who work with ordinary people and want to see the change. And you know what? I look forward to working with them within the spaces in which they are, in order to engage differently with politics and to begin to drive the change we want to see in our country. And I can promise you one thing: if we continue along that path, trusting ourselves, South Africa will be better. We just need to keep at it and not give up and not lose hope.
Please God, yes. I can't wait to get my hands on the book. I presume it is available. Where can one get their hands on it? Where can one go out to buy a book?
So all the major bookstores have got exclusive books, Park and Books. It's available on Loot, on Amazon, on Take a Lot. Even for those who like the electronic version of the book, they can download it on Kindle. and read. And please, I look forward to people's feedback. We've got a website, manifestobook.co.za, manifestobook.co.za. Lots of people are engaging on that platform. I get the emails directly, and soon we are going to start having group conversations about what we can do to do some of the things that are in the book.
We look forward to that. Thank you indeed for being on the show this morning. And
Thank you very
till the
much.
next time, God bless. And it was really wonderful chatting with you. Oh, by the way, is
Thank
there a
you very
third
much.
book in the pipeline?
Oh, yes, there will be, but maybe in a few years' time. I need to do the work that I say in the book needs
Okay.
to be done. I can't keep writing.
Absolutely. 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 We'll hold you to that. Thank you once again and go well.
Thank you very
It's
much.
1 minute after 10 o'clock. Next up is Juice 25 by Mishari Rashid Al Afsi. And time for me to wrap up. Thank you for being with us on the show this morning. Hope you've enjoyed all the discussions. Till tomorrow morning at the same time. As always, take care on the roads and a Khuda Hafiz from me, Julie Ali.